Hello everyone and welcome to the 60X Business Show. My name is Kitumaini and together with my guest, we'll have different conversations about business, entrepreneurship and life. This is the show you've been waiting for. Stay tuned. In today's conversation, I have an amazing entrepreneur. She's the CEO and founder of AfriFood Limited, which is a horticulture exporter company of fresh foods. And they do export banana, pineapple, chili to some of the markets, including the EU markets and the Middle East markets. And in the studio, she's Nandan Sakina Usengimana. Sakina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Wonderful. It's a pleasure to have you on the 60X Relax. It's going to be fun and
Yes.
it's going to be fine.
Thank you so much.
So you'll be spinning the wheel and randomly we'll select a number and from there I will ask you a question. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Over to you. Spin the wheel now.
Okay.
What's your lucky number?
Number is 1 or 2. So
Okay, let's see.
No.
You got 7.
Oh, 7, okay.
Yes. Maybe relax. You may still get 1. We never know.
Okay, sure.
Can you tell me more about your entrepreneurship journey? How did you ended up being in horticulture?
Okay. That's a good question. It's a long story. So I'm a fashion designer. I used to be a fashion designer, but I still feel like this is my lifestyle. It's not just something I live. I can say it's not something that I now no longer want to do because it's something I love. But I went to the Youth Connect. I think it's the time when Jack Ma came to Rwanda. And then when I was there in one of the seminar, they said, in Africa, you have land, but you are hungry. Where the food come from, it come from the land. So what can you do about it? That one was very hard for me. I was like, okay. When I look at some of my families, I see they have land in the village, but they don't use it for years. And I was like, what can I do about it? I have to do something. And that I started venturing. And that time I was also full-time employee somewhere else. So that's how it started. And when I started, I always wanted to do something which is going to be international. You know, even the company I was working for, it was an international company. And they say, how can I start maybe sending something outside? So I started cultivating tomatoes and it failed big time.
Really?
Yeah. So all the money I was receiving from my salary, I put in tomatoes, but I didn't have knowledge. I didn't know what they cultivated before. So all of that was the challenges. And I say, I'm not going to give up. So I started looking for people who do export. And luckily I met with someone who that time also was the chairman of the association. And they give me contract. I started cultivating, and afterward it also was not successful. And I read one book. It was saying, if you can do something in 3 years, because my plan was I start giving, if I start, I will be giving I will be supplying to people who send outside, but afterward I can start also exporting myself maybe in 3 years.
Yes.
And that time when I was failing, because also I was in partnership with other people but didn't work out, and I decided, reading that book, it said, if you can do something in 3 years, what is stopping you to do it today? And I was like, okay, if I get one client, then I will be going. So I started looking for one client, I got one client, and the rest is history.
Wonderful. What an amazing story. For a little bit of background, to repeat back what Sakina said, she's still passionate about fashion. As you can see, she's very elegant, and she started the business in farming farming tomatoes, but that business fails, and then now she's into horticulture, she's into exports, which is pretty amazing, and building a network around the people in the industry, building the know-how enabled and positioned her to be where she is today. And that is really an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that, Sakina. My follow-up question will be, why horticulture and fresh fruits? What is the magic behind that? Why not maybe another sector?
So horticulture, you know, I was telling you that it was about the opportunity, like what are they exporting? And I met immediately with people who do horticulture. But another thing is that for the horticulture, it is only for short time, like 3 months. You can cultivate something today, and then after 3 months you'll be harvesting. And that time I didn't have enough capital so that I can be cultivating something which is going to stay for maybe 1 year, 6 months. And another thing was I was definitely interested with agriculture because of the seminar I told you about, the Youth Connect. And so those are something which has motivated me because I'm so passionate about Africa. I'm so passionate about what I can do for my country, what I can do for our country, what I can do also for the continent. So that's why I say I think we need to feed ourselves and we need to feed Africa, and the rest of the world, which we are doing today.
Wow, and you're really doing an amazing job being able to run your business in agriculture. And as we know, agriculture contributes a lot to the GDP of Rwanda. And agriculture is needed everywhere in the world. We live by the produce that comes from farms. That's where our food comes from, and keep playing a bigger role into the business you're doing. And you're doing an amazing job with the exports. And let's spin the wheel for another round of questions.
Okay.
You got 7. Let's see what's going to be your next lucky number.
5.
You got 5.
Okay.
And Sakina got 5. I'd like to know, how does it feel being a young entrepreneur? You started experiencing entrepreneurship from failing a tomato business. Now you seem to be on the right track through exporting to different international markets. How does it feel?
Because I have been doing business for some time, so maybe I can say that it's a bit scary when you are not yet there. But when we start doing it, you feel like it's a lifestyle, something that you have to do, especially when you know this is like, quitting your job and doing a business full time is something not easy to everyone. Because when, for my first venture, I was telling you for fashion, I was doing it when I was having another full-time job. And every time when I do something, I want to give it the 100. And I say, I cannot do this when I'm also cannot go to agriculture and then I continue to do another job. So I think it's the feeling, I also feel proud. I feel proud because I see what we do. We work with around 375 farmers. I have like employees full-time, I have part-time. So if I say I'm contributing something to someone, and it's making me feel good. But there's days which is not good, you know, when you face different challenges as an entrepreneur. But I think those days, they help you to realize maybe there's a plan B, maybe there's another strategy you need to put into place so that you can keep working. But I feel like it's a bit scary when you haven't started, but I should tell everyone who is watching today that you don't have to be scared. So you have to just start. When you start is everything, because the only thing which is very scary is just starting, but when you start, you keep finding a way along the journey. So yeah.
Wonderful. And I like what you just talked about. Sometimes the journey is challenging, it's scary, but just get started. And you're doing an amazing job with the impact that you're creating with your business, creating jobs, being able to export some of the produce internationally. And talking about exports, what are the challenges that your business is is facing now. We are in the pandemic, and we know a lot of business has been affected. I know your sector was not affected too much. What are the challenges you're facing when it comes to exports, and how are you navigating around them?
Some of the challenges, I think every business now is really suffering, and as also we are included in agribusiness. And some of the challenges have been like logistic, because of some flight have been. So for now, we are doing only by air. We haven't started to do the containers, and some of the international airports have been closed. You know, and the flight today, you may wake up and find maybe now in UK you're not going to, there's no flight, and you have a client in UK, so what do? Maybe now what is happening is that the government is helping us so that we can be able to keep working, but that is also a challenge, because if they stop a flight, and also in the other side also when they go into lockdown, there's a affect the demand.
Yep.
So if they are ordering something, they are ordering very few, and sometimes even for the handling at the airport, it can be a bit challenging because of employees. They have a shortage at the airport. And other challenges, as maybe business in general, is like finance. Because when you're not having income, it's very challenging. And especially for the young people, you don't have security, and working with the bank is also becoming very complicated. It's like, but I think there's always a way, and there's always opportunities, like some of the BRD things and other things that you can do, so that it can be helping you to keep pushing. But for the risk, I think with the pandemic, I can say with the logistic, I can say with the finance, and also I can say also with the limited market. Sometimes there's no demand, and also sometimes there's also handling problems, so that maybe you send something, it is in good condition, and when it reaches another side, it is no longer in good condition, and you face the losses.
Wonderful. As you've heard from Sakina, there are a lot of challenges that most businesses are facing during this time in specific industries where you're operating in. And for according to her in their industry and specific to our company, what they're facing challenges of transportation. Basically, there are sometimes countries that put limitation when it comes to lockdown restrictions. Flights numbers being reduced, and also finances, where business, you need to be able to make enough sales to be able to cover your operation, to keep your employees on payroll, to run smoothly your production, to plan ahead your seasonality and harvest time. And those are some of the challenge, and there are also different restrictions around that when it comes to handling, etc., and transportation in between, when it comes to all the value chain from farms to their end consumers. There is a lot of value chain players that are basically affected, and it's a common challenge, and they're experiencing it. And for some viewers who just join us, my guest today is Sakina, and she's the CEO and founder of AfriFood Limited, and it's a horticulture company here in Rwanda that exports pineapple, banana, avocado, chili to the EU markets, as well as the Middle East markets. And my follow-up question to you, Sakina, is what is your vision of Rwanda when it comes to youth and entrepreneurship, yourself being a young person?
I think maybe, I don't know if I can find the best word to describe that, but I think the vision is brilliant, and it's really outstanding compared to what I see is happening. I can give one of the example, because I think in every government institution, they're trying to find youth, how they can help them to put in different programs. I can say one of the programs I graduated in was Global Go, which is sponsored by NIAB, and they were giving us skills on how we can learn our business professionally. What I can say is sometimes when you start a business, you are very young and you didn't have enough experience. So you may do things the same way, what you think is right, and maybe that is not what is right in the market. So like giving you these skills is help you to build the capacity for what you can do better. So, and another thing I can say is even access to finance. Sometimes when it is not available, they can give you collateral, even though it can be a long process, but it's still worth it. So to try that. So I can say for the youth, I feel proud. I feel like it's something that every youth could, even everyone could not start to wait to start a business when they are no longer youth. They can even start when they're youth, even though there's so many challenges to start a business when you don't have enough experience, when you don't have enough finance, and when you don't have enough connection. Because I think in business also connection is very important. So, but I see how the government is doing, and I can say even our President Paul Kagame, His Excellence, is doing very well, empowering youth, telling us that we can do anything. So all of that is really pushing you to do better every day. So I think the country vision is very good and is promising.
Wonderful. As you heard from Sakina, being a young entrepreneur, the future is very, very promising. There are a lot of infrastructure in place. There are a lot of systems and empowerment that is being done, starting from the top leadership. And I'd like to know from Sakina, when you talked about connections, when you talked about different trainings being provided, did you, when you started, did you had all those connections when you started? Or you started just by yourself and then other things came along organically, gradually going through along the journey?
I think I started with the wheel.
Okay.
So with the wheel, I didn't have a connection in horticulture or even agribusiness, but I really wanted I knew what I wanted. I think it's not about like what you have today, it's about what you want. And if you know what you want, I think you definitely know. And I think I didn't even know more about Naib, but I think now almost I know everyone because even I'm using their pack house. They're giving us access to use their pack house.
And you're also a chairwoman?
Yes, at the association. Okay. Yeah, I'm vice chair. And so I think I didn't have it. No, it's not about thinking, it's just I didn't have the connection in this sector, but I wanted that. And that's why even I ended up landing to someone who are in the sector, and they helped me to guide me in what they're doing. But I think what I see most of the youth, they're scared. You see the infrastructure, and this is the Ministry of Agriculture. You don't want to go inside and ask information because there's different program. Even in farming, there's what the subsidies they give. If you are cultivating, they can give you 50%. If you want irrigation system, they can give you 50%. All of that is information which is available, but sometimes the people are not accessing them. So I think it's now important that every youth could stand up, say, okay, I'm no longer going to stay home. I have to go and find information in the sector which I'm interested in. But when I started, I didn't have the connection. I didn't even have enough finance. And, you know, everything comes along the way. It is about the will, feeling like this is exactly what I want.
Wonderful. You talked about something very, very important. The way you started just with the wheel, and the wheel, it's what is needed to make some transformation and to move ahead. And as you said, you had the wheel, and then the rest unfolded afterwards. And you also mentioned some call to action for fellow young people. Go after the industry you're passionate about. There are a lot of information out there. If you're interested in agriculture, visit NAEB office, visit their website. There are tons of information, opportunities which are there. What you need to do, just get up from your seats, have that will and burning desire to go and look for information, and then the rest will unfold. If you are into technology, there are a lot of information about the Chamber of ICT, which will enable you to start. There are a lot of programs as well within the city or the place where you are living that will enable you to make that moving decision to help you start. And they're very, very important information and tips that you shared. My follow-up question will be, please, can you share with us some tips? I know in your industry, when it comes to securing markets, finding buyers, it's some exporters sometimes complain. What are your tips when it comes to finding markets, keeping the relationship with your buyers, especially during this pandemic has been?
That's a very good question. I think what I do is I have never, like, I work with everyone I meet.
Yep.
So I try to make sure, even though there are international buyers, I try to convince them to come here because I know they can and I know they will love it. And now today, even one of our clients is in Rwanda.
Wow.
And also a week before, there's another client from Germany who came to visit Rwanda, because it is something which I feel like when you meet with someone, it's no longer superficial, like you seeing people on the internet and feel like they're a good client. So I always worked with someone who I have been recommended to, and those people, when you work with them, I can give maybe one of the tips to be honest. You have to really be honest. If things is not working, please share it. Say this is not working. And if something is not very good, like you say, okay, how can we improve? So that instead of going here and there, saying, oh, maybe this is not working, you have to tell the person. So what I have been doing is to keep the trust with my client, because this business we are doing is not, I had one of the conversation, they were saying, this is not a commodity business, this is a trust business. So I have been building the trust by sometime when the client order, for example, they can say, send me 1,000 boxes. And when I see it's not possible to be able to send these boxes because of maybe the time they're giving you, maybe because of other factors. So I may say, okay, no, because maybe this and that, I cannot be able to send the produce 800 boxes. I'm only going to send maybe 500 or 800 boxes. So you may feel like 1,000 boxes is going to give you money, but when you know for sure it's not going to happen, maybe because of the short notice or other factors, you really have to say the truth, not thinking, oh, I'm going to get more revenue. So if in the end you fail and you didn't communicate, it's not going to be bad image to your client. And another thing I've been doing also was to talk about the future, and I also discussing about with my client, how can we do production, how can we strengthen our business, what can we do better, asking feedback every single day. And lastly, it was also if there's any opportunity, for example, for exhibition, we have been visiting them, attending the exhibition, so that we get time to also learn what they offer. If I send, for example, hot pepper in German or in Dubai, so how can I go and see even those hot pepper in the supermarket? I have I can give one of the example for Carrefour. We have been selected to be part of the suppliers for Carrefour. It is doing now from Nayeb. They have selected us, and now seeing my avocado from our company in supermarket in Dubai is something really very good. So going there, also looking how even the client buying them is something which is very important. So I think it's all about the trust and also communication. Communication is the key. If there is a delay of the flight, please communicate to a client. If there's anything, if you get last minute, sometimes you may plan one ton and then maybe you get a lot of rejection, maybe one ton is not going to be, communicate to them. And sometimes even when you're doing packing, sometimes I ask them, can I call you, show you the video, what we are doing? And it's make me feel like they are even in the process, and they have been really happy because we honor our word. But when we started, they were like, you are very young. How can we trust you? I say, okay, give me a chance, let me work with you, and then you see. But as we are working together, really they feel good because they see we do all our best so that we can meet their expectation. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Amazing tips as you've heard from Sakina. How they keep the relationship with their buyers. Number one, they build trust, right? In business, trust is very important. And second, what they do, they share the vision of their company and they involve the customers into that vision to ensure they are part of what the company is trying to create. And that's how you work with your customers through along your journey, by telling your stories, by showing your customers what you're trying to do. And third, what she said, you keep in touch with them, you visit them. If you have opportunity to go and see your customers in their case, some of their products are sold in different supermarkets, and whenever they attend exhibition in different countries, they go and visit them. And it feels good when she goes maybe to Dubai or Germany and visit some of the supermarkets and see some of their avocados, some of their products being shown or being sold in some of on the shelf or supermarkets. And in your case, maybe if maybe you are here in Kigali and some of the consumers may consume your product locally or other African markets, pay them a visit and see how they're consuming your product. Get feedback from them. It always feels good to keep that relationship and that momentum with your clients. And because that relationship is very key in business, building that trust and always letting your customer be involved in the mission that you are trying to do. My follow-up question is, as an entrepreneur, have you ever regret being your own boss or being an entrepreneur in life?
Never, because I never regretted it. Yeah, because I never regret anyway. I never regret anything in my life because I feel like if I'm doing something, it's an experience. If something happened the same way I didn't want, maybe there was a mistake I've done, there's something I've done. I think it's like an experience and, a pressure. Like, I never regret that because I feel good. I love entrepreneurship. I really love it. Everyone who knows me very well, they know like I've been trying even other businesses before doing this. But now I just focus 100% in agribusiness.
Wonderful. That is really amazing. My follow-up question, feeding into what you just said, we've heard you talking about your passion for entrepreneurship, for business and how to make money. We'd like to get to know more about the personal side of who is Sakina. Can you tell us what drives you in life every day to go and do the work that you do?
I'm driven by the impact of the work I'm doing and the work of my team. It's not about me. When someone's seeing AfriFood successful, they cannot think about Sakina only. They think about our board of directors, they think about our employees, even they think about our farmers. They think about even our drivers because we are even people at the airport, they help us so much. So it's about all the value chain, all the chain. So what drives me is like to see that we can do better than what we did yesterday. And another thing is like being a very successful business person, even not only in Rwanda, even in Africa, because I believe that there's no limit if you put all the effort and if you're really willing to do what it takes to reach there.
Wonderful. You talked about impacts. What legacy would you like to leave one day in this world from your business?
My legacy is that everyone who will come after me or even someone who is my age, they can say that this is possible. Because there's no many role models that we can look at saying, oh, this one have done this, that have done this. Sometimes I like to read so much about successful people and, it's a bit not from our background, you may feel, okay, this is successful, but maybe they had this from their family, things like that. But if you can understand my story and you see where I am today, you will feel like, oh, God, what is stopping me to do what I have to do? So I think the legacy I want to leave to young people, even women, is to see that they can do something. They can do even bigger than what they think they can do. I don't know how far we'll be. You know, it's like I'm dreaming big because I think there's no limit, because the government is supporting us.
Yeah.
Like the friend, the family, everyone, I think there's a system, supporting system, which is very good. And I think this is an opportunity even for the youth. This is the opportunity for women. So the legacy I want to leave is that everyone will feel like there's no limit and they can just take that one step, I say, because it's always difficult to take that step. So that's the legacy I want to leave. Yeah.
Good luck with that, and I know you can do it.
Yes.
Let me wrap up this conversation with my last question. Can you tell me who is your everyday hero in life?
Oh, that's a difficult question.
Really?
Yeah, that's a really hard one. For me, for my everyday heroes, it's depending on different factors. So I admire different people, as I was telling you, like His Excellency Paul Kagame is doing a good job, and I really feel good to be part of this journey. And I can look at my parents, I can say, okay, maybe, you know, this is something they have done and I feel very good. I can look at different entrepreneurs who inspire me. So I think I pick different people. I cannot say like this is a specific artist person, because I take all these characters to make myself. You know, I say I pick this one, this one, this one, this one, and then so that I can see how I can better in who I am today. So this is something I cannot say specifically the name, but I really admire from different people. Yeah, so that's how I can answer it.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
So we are coming to the end of this conversation, and my guest was Sakina, and she's the CEO and founder of AfriFood Limited, which is a horticulture exporter of avocado, pineapple, chili, and some of their markets they export to includes the EU markets as well as the Middle East markets. Thanks a lot for making it to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The conversation continues on social media using the hashtag 60xbusiness. Remember to tag me. My handle is at Christian Kitumaini. Till next time, remember to wear your mask, be safe, and I see you down the road.